Welcome to Marketecture, where you can get smart fast with in-depth interviews with leading technology executives. I'm Ari Paparo, and I'm here with Abhishek Srivastrava, the VP of Product at LinkedIn. Abhishek, did I mangle your name too badly?
That was pretty close. Nice to meet you, Ari.
Let's go through audience identity first. So how does a customer engage with your identity product? Is it a standalone product, or is it just in support of the advertising and reporting?
Yeah, it's in support of the advertising and reporting. And this is what really powers the platform underneath. And the changes that are happening are influenced by the privacy changes. So with all the recent announcements that have happened or changes that have happened from Apple, from regulators, and upcoming changes from Google, the whole notion is that when you have data at individual level across multiple parties, you need to have certain level of consent to be combining the data across different platforms. And what that means is individual level tracking when the data is not your first party data is becoming challenged. So the solution that we have been working on is what we call group identity. And the way it works is that instead of looking at individuals, we are actually looking them in groups. And going back to the point earlier I made about the use case for B2B, where you're not trying to reach individuals, you're actually trying to reach a group of decision makers. It's a very natural fit for a B2B use case. So instead of looking at individuals, you're actually trying to reach the decision makers, and that's the group that we construct. So that's a product that we have been testing and launching and improving upon. And it's very exciting in terms of customers being able to just tell us what companies they want to target, and we can figure out the groups within those companies, the decision-making groups, and then reach them on-site and off-site.
So I have a question, though. When you're on LinkedIn, on your owned and operated property, you have individual level granularity. If I wanted to reach the CFO at Cisco, a very specific company, you could offer that. So are you saying that you're obscuring that so it's not possible to reach an individual?
No. So what I'm saying is, first of all, you can reach the CFOs of large technology companies, but you may not be able to directly reach the Cisco CFO because we have some protections on the platform to make sure.
Yeah, of course.
So that's one. Figuring out who are the decision makers for the product you're selling is a hard thing. It's not easy. But the data that we have on the platform allows us to create that buying group, the decision-making group that you may be targeting ourselves. So that's the product, basically, that you tell us that you're trying to sell a product and Cisco is a likely customer of yours, and then we can figure out the buying group for that particular product that you have. And then so that's the way to think about this. And when we see our members offsite, then how do we know what they are and how we're mapping that to a group in a fashion that is privacy first is the other piece of that.
So are the groups static and hierarchical, or is it dynamic and sort of AI driven?
Yeah, so the very first version of this is static. That was the starting point. But what we are working on right now is to make them dynamics. And that makes a difference because as a professional, your role on a decision-making committee may change. For example, you may be a user for a product, and that is a role you play on a decision-making committee. You may be the champion for a product. You may be the ultimate executive approving that product. So your role may change based on what the product and service is being sold. And that's why the flexibility in groups is important, because then we can put people based on what product and services are being advertised.
So let me see if I understand this. You have this universe of hundreds of millions of people who have LinkedIn profiles. And what you've done is you've put them in sort of groups of based on type of company, type of decision maker that you infer, title, et cetera. And then, is that right? Kind of a good explanation for what you're talking about?
Yes, based on the data that we have on the platform and based on not just the profile data, but the engagement we see on the platform and the context people are, we can infer what role on decision-making committee that particular individual may be playing, and then we construct the groups based on that.